GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Here are our top stories.
The 19th Montreal World Press Photo Exhibition opens this week at the historic Bonseckers Market, featuring award-winning press images from around the globe. Matthew Ritz discusses the showcase. Elise Marchand has the full story.
The 19th Montreal World Press Photo Exhibition opens this week at the historic Bonseckers Market. Curated by photographer Matthew Ritz, the show brings together award-winning images from journalists worldwide, covering conflict, climate, and human stories. In total, more than 100 photographs line the market's arches, each paired with a brief caption that explains the moment captured. Visitors will wander through the market's vaulted halls, where large-format prints line the walls and interactive stations let audiences hear the context behind each shot. The exhibition runs through the week of August 23, 2026, offering free admission for students and seniors. Organizers say the collection aims to remind viewers of the power of visual reporting in an age of rapid news cycles. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Bonseckers Market.
Stéphane Paquet, the chief executive of Montreal International, has been tapped by the Parti Québécois to run in the riding of Pointe-aux-Trembles. Party officials said his appointment bolsters their economic team as they shape a slate for the upcoming provincial election. Paquet, known for attracting foreign investment and overseeing major development projects across the island, will now bring that experience to the political arena. The move arrives amid the party's broader effort to refresh its candidate roster ahead of the campaign season. Party leaders emphasize that his business background aligns with their goal of strengthening economic policy. Paquet told reporters he intends to champion job creation, sustainable growth, and deeper links with global partners to boost the local economy. Voters in Pointe-aux-Trembles can expect to see Paquet on the ballot later this year, as the Parti Québécois finalizes its list of contenders.
Police are searching for witnesses after a 15-year-old boy was seriously injured in a moped car collision in the Les Cèdres neighborhood earlier today. Sûreté du Québec officers responded to the scene on the afternoon of the crash, confirming the teenager was transported to a nearby hospital in critical condition. The incident occurred on a residential street near the intersection of Rue Saint-Laurent and Boulevard des Cèdres, where a motorized scooter struck a passenger vehicle traveling northbound. Investigators have not released details about the other driver, but they have urged anyone who saw the accident to come forward. The police request statements be made through the provincial tip line or at the nearest Sûreté du Québec office. The teenager remains hospitalized as authorities continue to piece together the circumstances surrounding the collision.
Quebec Finance Minister Christine Fréchette urges a strategic tariff response to U.S. measures, rejecting Ottawa's dollar-for-dollar retaliation plan and calling for a more nuanced approach. Elise Marchand has the full story.
At a press briefing in Quebec, Finance Minister Christine Fréchette said the province will push for a strategic tariff response to recent U.S. measures, rejecting the federal government's promise of a dollar-for-dollar retaliation. Fréchette argued that a blunt one-to-one approach could backfire and called for a more calibrated plan that protects Quebec's industries while keeping broader trade relations in mind. She noted that Ottawa's announced retaliation was already on the table, but insisted the province needs a nuanced strategy rather than an automatic mirror of U.S. duties. The minister said the next steps will involve consultations with industry leaders and a review of the economic impact before any new tariffs are rolled out. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Quebec.
Quebec's government announced Thursday it will reactivate the Emergency Financial Assistance Program first deployed during the COVID-19 health crisis. The measures, which provided cash flow relief, loan guarantees, and wage subsidies to struggling firms, will be offered again to help businesses still feeling the pandemic's aftershocks 6 years later. Officials said the rollout will follow the same eligibility criteria and application process used in 2020 to 2021, aiming to streamline access for small and medium enterprises across the province. The province hopes the renewed support will prevent further closures and preserve jobs as the economy continues to recover. No new legislation is required. The program will be funded through existing provincial reserves. Finance Minister Jean-Claude Tremblay said the province will earmark roughly $1 billion, with applications opening early next month via an online portal. A recent report showed hospitality and retail revenues still lagging, prompting the move.
Up next, the study showing Quebec's small businesses paying up to 5 times more tax. Then a weather glance. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. The Fédération des Chambres de l'Économie et de l'Industrie released a study this morning showing that Quebec's smallest firms are shouldering tax rates up to 5 times those of larger competitors. The analysis, based on recent filing data, indicates that businesses with fewer than 50 employees face a fiscal burden dramatically higher than the province's mid-size and corporate sectors. While the overall provincial tax structure remains unchanged, the report argues that the disparity stems from a combination of fixed levies and reduced access to credits that disproportionately affect low-volume operators. FCEI officials say the findings could prompt a review of the tax code to ensure a more proportionate contribution across all business sizes. The organization plans to present its recommendations to the Finance Ministry later this month. Stakeholders will monitor the response closely.
Quebec City's plan for a temporary supervised consumption center has hit a standstill as community resistance grows, delaying efforts to curb rising overdose rates. Antoine Prévost has the full story.
The city and health authorities planned a supervised consumption center to combat rising overdose rates. However, community opposition has delayed the opening. Residents and local groups have voiced concerns, leading officials to pause the project while they seek broader acceptance. The delay reflects debate over how best to address harms. Health officials say the site would provide safe space for people who use substances, linking them to treatment and reducing overdoses. City leaders say they remain committed to finding a solution, but will not move forward until they have sufficient community support. The situation remains fluid as dialogue continues. Officials have scheduled a series of town hall meetings soon to hear residents' concerns and explore alternatives. Meanwhile, overdose incidents continue to climb, prompting urgency among health officials. Antoine Prévost, GMNA News, St. Roch.
Ontario's decision in 2006 to keep students in school until age 18 has produced a measurable rise in high school diploma attainment, outpacing neighboring Quebec. Education analysts Mélanie Marquis and Josie Desmarais credit the gap to the province's mandatory schooling rule, expanded cooperative education courses, and targeted success teams that monitor at-risk learners. Since the policy's introduction, Ontario reports a steady increase in secondary completions, while Quebec, which retains a lower compulsory age, shows slower growth. The approach blends classroom instruction with workplace placements, allowing students to earn credits while gaining real-world experience. Success teams, made up of counselors, teachers, and community partners, intervene early when attendance or grades slip, offering tutoring and mentorship. Both analysts note that the coordinated effort reduces dropout risk and aligns with labor market needs, and the model is now frequently cited in inter-provincial education discussions.
Local merchants, municipal workers, and emergency responders in a Quebec town gathered early this morning for a dementia-friendly training program. The session, launched at 4 o'clock, aims to teach participants how to recognize cognitive challenges and adjust everyday interactions, from shop counters to police calls. Organizers say the curriculum covers communication techniques, signage cues and safety protocols that can ease daily life for residents living with dementia. With the condition affecting a rising share of Canadians, the town hopes the initiative will set a model for inclusive service across the province. Participants practiced role-playing scenarios, learning simple steps like speaking slowly, allowing extra time and offering clear directions. Officials expect the training to spread to neighboring municipalities, creating a network of businesses and first responders ready to support those facing memory loss.
On August 22nd, dozens of Montrealers marched through Villeray-St. Mitchell Park Extension, denouncing violence after 2 women were killed in separate suspected intimate partner incidents the previous week. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Dozens of Montrealers gathered on August 22nd along the streets of Villeray-St. Mitchell Park Extension, marching behind banners from Mason to Haiti to condemn violence against women. The crowd moved from the local community center toward the main boulevard, chanting for justice after the fatal shootings of 2 women in separate suspected intimate partner attacks the week before. Participants held candles and signs reading "Enough" and "Women's Lives Matter," while police officers formed a perimeter to keep the route clear. Organizers said the demonstration aims to keep the victims' names alive and press authorities for stronger protection measures. The atmosphere remained peaceful, with families of the deceased joining the procession to show solidarity. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Villeray.
Now let's hand it over to our meteorologist for tonight's outlook across the region.
A deepening low over the St. Lawrence, steered by a swift southern jet, dictates tonight's dry stability. On this date, Montreal's all-time heat record stands at 31.1 degrees Celsius, set in the summer of 2021 during a lingering heat wave that pushed daily highs into the mid-30s. The cold extreme is 11.6 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2018 when an Arctic surge slammed the city with sub-zero air aloft, driving temperatures well below normal. By contrast, today's climatological average hovers around 22 degrees for the high and 16 for the low, a modest swing from the extremes. The live radar screen is a clean canvas across southern Quebec. No rain echoes from the southwest, and the reflectivity bands are absent, confirming the quiet pattern. With low pressure nudging higher and a fast southern jet aloft, the air mass remains dry and stable. That means no precipitation will reach downtown Montreal tonight, and the sky should stay clear until the early morning hours when the jet begins to shift eastward. At 11 p.m. Montreal sits at 18 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, humidity near 91%, and a gentle southerly breeze of 9 kilometers per hour. The surface low is rising, inviting drier air to filter in behind the departing front. Overhead, a southern jet racing at 192 kilometers per hour injects momentum, keeping the column well mixed and suppressing cloud growth. With the pressure trend upward, tonight will stay dry and the temperature will dip to 15 degrees by dawn. UV index remains at 5, and wind gusts may top 27 kilometers per hour from the south. A severe thunderstorm watch persists for the Lacal, St. Jean-Marieville, Sorel-Yamaska, and Verchères below corridors, so monitor any rapid changes. With the night set, let's move to the 5-day outlook. Monday arrives under a thick overcast shield, with temperatures climbing to 21 degrees and slipping to 14 overnight. Tuesday brightens as the sky clears, reaching 23 degrees, yet a 35% chance of rain lingers in the eastern valleys, so a brief shower is possible. Wednesday offers the most sun of the week, a clear sky and a high of 25 degrees, cooling to 17 by night. Thursday reintroduces cloud cover and the highest warmth of the stretch at 27 degrees, but the rain probability jumps to 50%, signaling a likely wet spell. Friday retreats to a clear horizon again, delivering 24 degrees at peak and a comfortable 16 at night. The pattern reflects a south-driven jet that swings east, delivering warm air and intermittent moisture through the midweek. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates, today's top events, and a look at our Habs legend Yvonne Lambert recovering. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Big news out of the Canadiens world on all fronts tonight. Habs legend Yvon Lambert is recovering at Lakeshore General Hospital after suffering fractures in a fall. Lambert, a beloved figure in Montreal hockey history, is described as a popular patient, which tells you everything about the man. Wishing him a full and speedy recovery. Two stories worth your attention. Canadiens prospect Hayden Popinkies heads into the NCAA hungry, welcoming the jump in competition. That mindset matters for a developing player. And in an only in sports twist, the PWHL's Walter Cup has gone missing in transit to Alberta for Montreal Victoire forward Dara Greig. Someone find that trophy. Fourth-round picks are supposed to be depth gambles. LJ Mooney is making the Canadiens look smart. The 2025 draftee stands 5'8", heard every doubt, then put up 30 points in 34 NCAA freshman games. That production from a late-round pick quietly strengthens one of the deepest prospect pipelines in the league. Plenty of hockey to watch this week. We will keep you covered.
Thanks, Jason.
Welcome back. A man suffered critical upper body injuries after a brawl in Montreal on August 22, 2026, prompting a swift emergency response. He remains in intensive care fighting for his life. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Police say a violent altercation broke out on the streets of Montreal on August 22nd, leaving a man with severe injuries to his chest and shoulders. Emergency crews arrived within minutes, finding the victim unconscious and bleeding heavily. Paramedics administered life-saving treatment on scene before rushing him to a nearby hospital, where doctors say he remains in critical condition and is fighting for his life. Witnesses reported hearing loud shouts and seeing several people scatter as the fight escalated. Investigators are canvassing the area for video footage and speaking with anyone who saw the confrontation. The motive behind the brawl is still unclear, and police have not released details about the other individuals involved. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Montreal.
On August 22nd, former PQMNA René Gauval announced his candidacy with Quebec Solidaire in the Camille Laurin riding, challenging PQ leader Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon. Simon Fortier has the full story.
René Gauval stepped out today in Camille Laurin, announcing his bid to run under the Quebec Solidaire banner. The former Parti Québécois MNA, who represented the riding from 2013 to 2016, said the move reflects his belief the left-leaning coalition better matches his vision for the neighborhood. He faces incumbent PQ leader Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, who has held the seat since the last election. Gauval outlined priorities on affordable housing, public transit upgrades, and climate-friendly jobs, urging voters to consider a fresh perspective. The announcement came as campaign flyers began circulating on local storefronts, marking a notable shift in the riding's political landscape. He also thanked longtime supporters who traveled from across the island to hear his speech. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Camille Laurin.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us tonight. The powerful march against violence showed the city's resilience and compassion. We appreciate you staying informed with the Wrap. Tune in tomorrow for more in-depth coverage of the stories that matter to you. Until then, stay safe and keep looking forward.